Hello, hello! If you're preparing for the IELTS speaking test, you have come to the right place. In today's video, I'm gonna answer all part 3 questions in Cambridge IELTS 20. The questions cannot be displayed on the screen, so please buy your own copy of the book. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. The most popular. I'm not sure if this is the most popular play in my country, but Disney's The Lion King seems to be really popular. This play has been running in my country for decades, I think, maybe even since before I was born. You know, the Lion King, you know, the strong hero and you know, spectacular costumes and props never seems to get old. I think it's quite easy. I mean, I have never heard of any plays that are so popular that it's almost impossible to get a ticket. So yeah, I think it's rather easy. Yeah, I absolutely think so, because, you know, that would be the only way for businesses to survive. You know, they have to keep expanding their customer base. And, you know, of course, it's really important. It's crucial to keep attracting younger people. Otherwise, their business, their industry will be forgotten. So whatever it takes, whether it's the social media, you know, theaters will have to make full use of that in order to invite, you know, even more younger people than ever to theaters. Well, the fame, you know, being in the spotlight never fails to feel great. You know, having so many people screaming at you, you know, like, I love you, you know, or having millions of followers and subscribers on your social media platforms. Yeah, that feels so great, and that's something that many aspiring actors would strive for. One, like, crucial or indispensable quality is having a good memory. You know, because, you know, being a successful actor, let's say if you are cast for a leading role in a 2-hour movie, then you would have to memorize like thousands of lines. And not just the lines, but also you would have to memorize the, you know, the timing of each action, as well as, you know, gestures and choreography and, you know, all those things. So yeah, if you want to make a splash as a, you know, successful actor, then, you know, the first thing you have to have is to be able to memorize so much information at a time. Well, one huge drawback is, of course, the lack of privacy. You know, if you are a household name celebrity, that means you will always be, you know, chased around by paparazzi, so you don't have a sense of privacy anymore. Another huge disadvantage is that I have heard that many actors, many famous people can't buy insurance. Does that make sense to you? You know, because buying insurance, like life insurance, requires you to have a stable, reliable source of income. But being an actor, you can't always have that. You know, if your movie becomes a smash hit, then, you know, money keeps coming in for 1 year, for example. But once, you know, the movie, I mean, people forget about the movie, then the money stops coming in. It's really unstable. So that's, you know, unstable income is one huge drawback of actor life. Well, friends might organize some kind of surprise party to congratulate their friends for getting a job or maybe getting married. Yeah. Well, absolutely, with family, especially with parents, would be a better idea, because parents have lived much longer than their children have, of course. So they have, you know, extensive life experience. So when it comes to life issues, like what kind of occupation would be the most suitable for you, or whether you should get married now or later, I think your parents can give you more sound advice than your friends can. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, it would be ridiculous to just copy others just because, they are looking more successful than you are. Because, no two people are the same. Everybody has a different life situation. So let's say one of your friends has got promoted in his job because of something he did or he said. Then if you attempt to do exactly the same thing in your job, then you might not become so successful as him because, his employer and your employer might not be the same person. So, just focus on your life and doing whatever you can. I think that would be the most certain way of success. How important? Well, I think that's incredibly important because recruiters expect you to have, some background or knowledge or expertise in whatever occupation you are applying for. So let's say you are applying for a job in the food industry. Then your interviewers would expect you to have some knowledge in the food industry. Then if you have a degree in a food related field of study, then that proves that you are knowledgeable about the particular field of profession. Without that, I don't think you can succeed in your job hunt. Why? Well, the reason is obvious. Getting a little bit of work experience can get you a clear image of what it is like to work in a certain specific industry. So let's say, you fantasize about the show business. You think it's cool, but if you get an internship in the show business industry, then along the way, you will see some of the reality and you might be disillusioned. But it's up to you whether you still want to go forward with that job. Without that experience, then you might make the wrong decision in your job hunt. How easy? As long as you are young, it'll be easy. But as you get older, of course, your memory declines, and so does your physical strength, and maybe so does your passion toward your job as well. So, when you're young, even if you try a completely new kind of job, you might be able to pick up the new skills and new knowledge. But as you get older, that would be more difficult. Dissatisfied with inequalities that persist in our modern society. Some people are more successful than others. Some are richer than others. Some are more good looking than others. Those inequalities are, massive complaints that almost everybody has, even though in many cases there's nothing we can do about them. Well, ambition is basically absolutely a positive thing that helps you, push your boundaries. But going overboard with that might turn out to be detrimental, or maybe that might put you in the end of the world. For example, let's say you are a very ambitious business leader, business owner, and you keep pushing forward and forward, even though you're running out of money. Then what's going to happen at the end? Well, you will very likely be, flat broke. So sometimes it's important to know when to stop. Sometimes you might have to give up on your dream. So being too ambitious might be a bad idea. Most important components, I think it's health. Yeah, even if I were a billionaire, or even if I were a one of the most influential and most powerful politicians in my country, but if I were like bound to my bed, unable to walk around on my own feet, then I don't think I would. I don't think I could enjoy my life to the full. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, the answer would be up to each person. But as for my personal opinion, as long as I can make ends meet, I wouldn't care so much about my salary, but I would care more about my colleagues. I mean, I never ever want to work with colleagues who are mean, or or with boss who has a domineering behavior. So yeah, for me to be able to spend time with nice people would be probably the most important component of life. No, I absolutely don't think so. I mean, it's totally possible to stay on one job until retirement age, but you're still, perfectly content about your job. It's totally possible. One of my uncles is a good example. He has been a photographer for more than 45 years, I think. And well, he doesn't make much money, but he often says that he's pretty satisfied with his life because he can do what he loves doing, photography. So yeah, it's totally possible. You don't have to change jobs. Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's possible. Well, even if you are cleaning toilets, or if you have, like dirty and dangerous construction work, as long as you can feel that your work contributes to the well-being of society, you can feel that you are doing something meaningful. So yeah, it's totally possible. How? Well, it's absolutely the internet that most people, especially younger people and middle-aged people as well, turn to for news. But for elderly people, of course, that would be the television, and some people might still listen to the radio. No, I don't think so. I mean, local news, I don't think that would ever get so much public attention. I mean, the tallest building in our town has been completed. I mean, who cares? I mean, so yeah, it's absolutely national news that would get much more public attention, like the prime minister has resigned or something. How important? Well, I would have to say that's more important than ever because our world, all countries in the world are more and more interconnected. So something that happens in one country might very likely affect other countries as well. For example, if there's a war in one country, that might affect many aspects of the international community, like for example in terms of economy, because stock prices might nosedive, or the transportation of goods might be affected. So in today's society, it's crucial to stay current with international news. Why? Because that's what matters. I mean, the public opinion is what matters probably most in democracy. Democracy is all about how the people, the public, wants to change their society. So therefore, it's very important for politicians and journalists and think tank agents to try to elicit honest opinions and ideas from regular, ordinary people. So that's why such televised discussions are very popular. What kinds of people? I would say people who are very vocal about their opinions. For example, in my country, the topic of whether, capital punishment should be abolished or not is such a massive, very delicate sort of political matter, and people are almost completely split up about this issue. Some are for capital punishment while others are against. So yeah, people who wants to get on their soapbox and say, this is how I feel about this issue, those people are willing to come up on the discussion program. Well, of course, hearing other people's opinions or suggestions through those discussion programs is meaningful and can be even inspiring. But at the same time, to be candid, I kind of feel that those discussions these days are dividing the people even further. I even feel actually that many of those televised discussions and debates are meant to kind of instigate people of one group to criticize or even hate the people of the other group. And the gap between those two groups of people starts to become even wider, and that's so divisive, and that's absolutely a bad thing, I would have to say. Alright, I hope you found this video useful. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and most importantly, let me wish you good luck on your test.